Well, the record pillow that is over there, is not going to change again because the Ohio State Buckeyes had positive tests that included head coach Ryan Day, and the game against Illinois was canceled late Friday night, and they did not play yesterday. This means that Ohio State is in some trouble. They've already lost another game to Maryland. Now they lose a game to Illinois. That's it. The Big Ten has come out and said, hey, you need to play a minimum of 6 games to be eligible for the Big Ten championship game. Cool. Ohio State has to play Michigan State and Michigan. And that Michigan State game is kind of in limbo right now. Ohio State has put out a statement saying that they still expect to play that game, but I think the odds are looking slim. I'm going to tell you why Ohio State is in trouble and why I think Ohio State can still make the playoff even if they don't get to the Big Ten championship game. We'll talk through scenarios right now. What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about and going a little in depth and looking more long picture on what Ohio State's cancellation means for the program and means for the college football playoff. So, of course, what it means for Ohio State is now they have to play Michigan State and they have to play Michigan and win those 2 games in order to get into the Big Ten championship game. They can maybe even afford to lose 1 game because they have the tiebreaker over Indiana. But Ohio State's the last undefeated team left in the Big Ten. They're clearly one of the best teams in the country. And while they may be coming off a shaky performance, they're going to be angry coming off a shaky performance whenever they play next. So Ohio State in trouble of not making the Big Ten championship game. It's weird because I don't think the Big Ten should have come out and said, well, you need to play this many games in order to play for a championship game. Why? In a year that has been impacted with COVID and social movement and all other sorts of just weirdness and craziness, why? Why put a restriction? The Big Ten has just done an absolutely horrible job of managing this entire situation, especially when it comes to COVID and being able to get teams on the football field and having players quarantine and coaches quarantine. It's a whole mess in the Big Ten, and Kevin Warren I don't know. I think Kevin Warren needs to leave, but that is a topic for another day. I'm here to talk about Ohio State and their picture long term. They're still on pace to make the college football playoff. They're still expected to beat Michigan State and Michigan if those games get played, and they're still expected to win the Big Ten championship game against what's going to be Northwestern. Okay, so let's say all that does happen. Ohio State, this week against Illinois was just a precaution cancellation, and they go play, win all of the 3 remaining games they're supposed to play. Cool, they're in the playoff. What if they don't? I'm not saying what if they don't win, because Ohio State surely is going to beat Michigan State, surely going to beat Michigan, and probably should beat Northwestern. What if the game against Michigan State gets canceled? This is where things get interesting. Ohio State would not be eligible for the Big Ten championship game, and it would go to Indiana. Well, Indiana already has a loss to Ohio State, and Northwestern also has a loss. Spoilers for this week's video, Northwestern did lose. So that is a big thing there as well. So that becomes an elimination game. Both those teams, I don't feel like have great chances to make the playoff anyway. And if Indiana ends up winning that game, hey, Ohio State's proven they can beat the Big Ten champion. Why not Ohio State get in the year that's just been crazy? I also don't know why the playoff didn't expand, but that's just me. So really, I mean, then it comes in the situation where when you have to start comparing Ohio State to other teams. Surely Alabama's getting in. We all know this. Surely the winner of Clemson Notre Dame is getting in. We all know this. And if it happens to be Clemson, Notre Dame might also get in as well. So there are 3 of the top 4 teams. Then who's your 4th? Well, you can look at Ohio State, obviously. If Ohio State does not end up playing the game against Michigan State, does not make the Big Ten championship game, well, they could still play Wisconsin or Iowa in that last game of the season. And no matter what happens, it's probably going to end up being a top 25 matchup. The winner of that Wisconsin-Iowa game the final week of the season will decide who plays Ohio State if that Michigan State game gets canceled. Because if Ohio State doesn't make the Big Ten championship game, they will surely finish in second place in the East. So and if it's Wisconsin, that's like a de facto Big Ten championship game. Am I wrong? It's like a de facto Big Ten championship game. Cool. So Ohio State has that under their belt as well with like a 5-0, 6-0 record, maybe 7-0, but 7-0 would be if they get to the Big Ten championship game. Cool. So 5-0, 6-0 Ohio State team in just a fluky year that they've had to deal with COVID. They're undefeated and they've proved they're one of the best. Then you have to start comparing them to like an undefeated Cincinnati, one-loss Texas A&M, maybe a two-loss Florida. Heck, the winner of the Big Ten championship game, in which I think Ohio State wins the conversation, and all of them, maybe except Texas A&M, that I think will be a little closer of a conversation. But I also think the conversation really, really simplifies if Clemson loses another game. If Clemson loses another game, whether that be another game later down the line, whether that be next week on the road to Virginia Tech or someone else, and then, or if Notre Dame beats them in the ACC championship game, that means Clemson's out. They have 2 losses. That means that they're out. So then what? If Clemson loses the game, surely Ohio State has to be in no matter what. I mean, they're going to prove they're undefeated. I don't know what to think of it. It's just a fluky mess. And if Ohio State wants to get in, for sure, they need to play all the rest of their games and win all the rest of their games. But I still don't think, even if Ohio State's game against Michigan State gets canceled, all hope is lost. I think Ohio State can still have a chance. I think Ohio State can still have a chance to make the playoff, to make a run at a national title. I know this year's championship games have been said, well, they're going to put an asterisk because it's been COVID. That's been disproven pretty quickly. All of the championships that have been won this year, whether that be in the NHL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, what have you, they have been probably some of the hardest championships to win ever. Just because there are no fans, home field advantage doesn't really matter. Like home court advantage doesn't really matter when you're in a bubble scenario. The best team is going to show out, and you have to play your best every day. You can't have an off day. So the asterisk is not going to be there. I don't know about college football. The asterisk might be there. But we are going to have to see how that all pans out. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong down in the comment section below. Do you still think, even with the game being canceled against Illinois and maybe the game canceled against Michigan State, do you guys think Ohio State still has a chance? Again, I will re-mention all of this if that Ohio State game against Michigan State does get canceled. But as of right now, Ohio State cannot afford to lose another game, more or less. For the Big Ten championship-wise, yes. For the playoff-wise, that's where it gets a little more complicated. But thank you guys so much for watching. This Ohio State fan reacts to. In this case, I reacted to the game canceled against Illinois. We just can't lose another game. Otherwise, we can't make the Big Ten championship game and guarantee our spot in the playoff. If we end up losing that game to Michigan State, I'll say pretty much everything I said in this video in terms of the playoff scenarios in that video as well. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like. Also consider subscribing if you are brand new to the channel or you just enjoy my content. Turn on that notification bell so you do not miss an upload, and you can join Tailgate Nation. Also, please leave a comment down below. You can tell me if I'm wrong. Please tell me if you still think that Ohio State has a chance to make the college football playoff, and also give your thoughts on Ohio State and the college football season down below. If you'd like, share this video with everyone you know as well. I'm trying to go the channel as big as possible, so share the video with everyone you know who likes college football, Big Ten football, or Ohio State football as much as you and me. Remember to play hard, but tailgate harder, and I will see all of you guys later tonight with my week review. It'll be a shorter video because we had more games canceled, but I will still upload that video for you guys. Goodbye.